The film industry has shown plenty of examples of what's right for our kids and what isn't. Whether films have a PG or PG-13 rating, however, there always seems to be the types that parents find more acceptable for children to watch than others. Lord of the Rings, Batman, Mission Impossible, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. But then we have the types of films that kids really shouldn't watch while they're still preteens. That's what this video is all about. This isn't telling parents how to do their jobs, just a personal opinion. Not counting R-rated films, these are the top 10 movies that kids shouldn't watch before they're teenagers. Number 10, Liar Liar, one of Jim Carrey's classic films and honestly one of his best. While the signature focus of the film is on Carrey wanting to make things right with his family, while at the same time under this curse from his son's birthday wish where he can't lie for a whole day, one of the main obstacles that gets in his way is a divorce case where he must represent a gold digger who wants to divorce her husband and gain his net worth. During the proceedings, we listen to a sex tape submitted as evidence. Plus, outside the court, there's other sex-related jokes that really no kid should have to sit through. This is best left for the grown-ups to decide when to show this movie.
Here she comes to wreck the day!
Number 9, Grease. This musical has plenty of innuendos that are sure to fly over kids' heads, especially if we're talking about the song lyrics.
Keep your filthy paws off my silky drawers. Would you pull that crap with a net?
Also, just look at this choreography. Tell me you want to see your kids try moves like that. The teenagers we see in the film are terrible role models. Sure, it depicts life in the 1950s, but do we really need kids to see what they're like this early? Just imagine what they might try to do with each other. Danny especially gives mixed messages. Is he really going to patch things up with Sandy only to screw everything up all over again? Come on!
You think I'm going to stay here with you in this sin wagon? You can take this piece of tin?
And what about the end where we see Sandy all geared up like a bad girl? Great message for kids, just be a doormat for everyone. Number 8, Kangaroo Jack. I recommend not watching this film at all because clearly this isn't really fit to grab kids' attention. It looks and sounds real dumb, even from a kid's perspective, but once you watch it, holy cow, it gets so much worse than that. You go into this movie thinking it'll be some dumb animal comedy for kids, but instead it's a mafia film that sends the characters down under. Not just in Australia either. You'd want to hide the disc down under the sofa, never to be disturbed again. Not just the mafia premise, but the innuendos. Plus the main character grabbing a woman's breasts. That's not the type of scene you would want your kids to see, would you? Just like how this whole movie is not something you would want to see. Seriously. Number 7, Beavis and Butthead Do America. Anybody who's familiar with Beavis and Butthead knows there's nothing in the world that can make this a family-friendly show. It's about two stupid horny teens that cause trouble and panic. Even in its early runs, it has attracted controversy because of its influence on the youth. A feature film is just gonna act even further as an influence, so really, it's not an ideal film for kids to watch for any reason. You can only really enjoy this franchise if you have a mature mindset anyway, so you can understand the jokes and really appreciate the essence of what it's all about. Just keep the kids out of it.
Get the hell out of the cockpit!
You thought...
Number 6, The Graduate. Dustin Hoffman plays a college graduate who's not sure what to do with his life. He wants to date a pretty girl, but her mother doesn't just want to stop him from dating her, no, she wants to have sex with him. Really? I've heard of protecting your daughter from whatever, but to take it a step further by offering your body to the person who's trying to date your daughter is taking it a step too far. Plus, there's the scene at the strip club, which is just absolutely wild and really just not fit for kids to watch. It's one of the most uncomfortable experiences you'd ever have watching a movie if you're watching it with your kids. So just don't. Wait a few years first. Number 5, Poltergeist. If you let your kids watch this horror movie, you're making a huge mistake. This film has plenty of memorably terrifying scenes that will scar your kids for life. There's the tree coming to life, there's the man tearing his own face off, the flashing lights, the clown doll, the loud monster noises, and the overall atmosphere is just not right for our kids to consume. Even if you know the scares are coming, you're still not ready for them. Your kids wouldn't be ready for it either. So yeah, keep them away from this film.
They're here.
Number 4, To Kill a Mockingbird. This movie is based on Harper Lee's classic novel, following Atticus Finch's defense of Tom Robinson on the charges of rape. It's pretty clear what the trouble is once you're actually familiar with the source material. It is a legal drama where a lawyer defends a black man on the charge of raping a white woman. This film uses the N-word a few times, and considering the subject matter, it should all be enough to just wait on this film. The prejudice of the 1930s are a subject best taught in high school where kids are more mature. Number 3, The Crucible. Arthur Miller's play was turned into a movie that recaptures the Salem witch trials of 1692. The drama is massively intense, featuring an opening scene where a bunch of young girls perform a pagan ritual. One drinks a chicken's blood, one strips naked, and after all that, things get pretty hectic during the witch trials themselves. This story is all sorts of disturbing. Accusations fly, society is torn apart by the pretense put on by the girls. It's too much for kids to handle. Keep the history reserved, but there's always a good time and a bad time for when to share it with the kids. Number 2, Jaws. This film is one of Steven Spielberg's classics, but if your kid is a preteen, this is not the right time for them to watch this movie. I mean, the original description for PG is some material may not be suitable for pre-teenagers. You think? How do you expect your kids to make it through this movie when we're watching shark attacks? A kid gets killed in a bloody mess? A man's severed leg sinks to the ocean floor? That's not even the worst of it. Take a look at this scene where the scientist is checking out a shipwreck and this dead body pops out. That's just so freaky. Yes, the movie goes more on the adventure side when we see the 3 leads on the boat set to kill the shark. But what are the kids going to remember more? The shark attacks or the boat ride? Not even the boat ride is safe. The shark puts holes in the boat, he rocks the boat around, he even jumps on the boat while it's sinking. Then the captain slides into its open mouth. Congratulations, your kid is traumatized for life. What made you think your kid would want to go near the water? Even adults were afraid of the water after watching this movie. Number 1, Titanic. Yes, Jaws is a bloodier film, but this one has a higher body count, mainly because it's centered around one of the most tragic events in history, the sinking of the RMS Titanic. Forget about what we know of Jack, having drawn nude sketches in the past, and even drawing one of Rose. The real reason to keep your kids away from this film for some time is the sinking itself. Not only did James Cameron recapture the beauty of this famous ship, but he also recaptured its destruction in graphic detail. The leaks get bigger and water fills up more of the ship. I think the parts that will traumatize kids the most are the boiler room escape, the scene below deck where a crying child and his father get slammed by a huge wave of water, the water crashing through the grand staircase, the bow dipping into the ocean causing passengers to slide to their doom, the ship splitting in two, the stern upending, and the final plunge. It sounds like I'm describing the whole process of the sinking, but that's because I am. The whole sinking scene, every second, every frame, is just as much a disaster for young kids as it was for the people who were aboard this ill-fated voyage. Not to mention, the psychological scars caused by seeing the dead bodies in the ocean once the ship is gone, including a dead mother and a dead baby. There's just no way anyone could possibly think this film would be alright for kids to watch. It was really stretching here. It could very well have gotten an R rating. The fact that it didn't means the people making it were very, very lucky.